children of Israel.
We are the children of Israel.
We b'nei Israel.
אנחנו בני ישראל.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Your Arms to Israel International Ministries and our studio. It's wonderful to have you with us this week, ready to join us in the Nazarene Yisraelite truth of the latter-day gathering and restoration of both houses of Yisrael. There really is no other message in Scripture. It is a message of Yahshua gathering the nations, turning them from the ways of their pagan ancestors, leaving their Western Gentile mindset behind, because it is written in Yirmiyahu chapter 16 that in the latter days all men will come from the ends of the earth, saying, truly we have inherited only lies, only vanity, and only falsehood. And in the latter days men will acknowledge their pagan foundation and will say, in that day, Jeremiah 16, Yirmiyahu says that they shall know, the nations, they shall know that I am Yahweh Elohim. And so that's what we're all about, this Your Arms to Israel International Ministries Shabbat Video Club. We're honored to have you with us. We're honored that you've taken the time to be with us. And please feel free to share these wonderful messages that are anointed and pinpointedly, accurately guided by the Ruach HaKodesh. And as you stay with us through the months and through the weeks, you will see your most kadosh emunah, faith, being built up in the truth of the commonwealth. That's right, the commonwealth of Israel. Yahweh wants you and I to be equal heirs, equal partakers, equal citizens, drinking of that same commonwealth, because Yeshua is king of Yisrael, and certainly not of a separate non-Yisraelite entity. And so sit back and again, make yourselves at home and be comfortable with us, and we'll go right now, immediately, into today's special Shabbat service. Shabbat Shalom. message we began last week called the Chronicles of Bilam. The Chronicles of Bilam. Now again, let me qualify my remarks by saying this. Not every message can possibly be 1 Corinthians 15, where we just yell and we shout and we get excited. This mortal must put on immortal glory. Oh, Baruch Hashem, yeah, and this corruption. No. Okay. When you have a teaching ministry, a lot of times you have to read. If I gave that teaching on the Sefer Yashar, and I didn't read to you major portions of Sefer Yashar, would you have received it as legitimate? No. You must authenticize or make the message authentic by proclaiming and by what? Sharing the facts. So these, there are some times when if Rabbi Moshe doesn't get vivacious, that you feel as if the message is boring. Well, every once in a while, it is my purpose to bore you with facts. Because if I can't read from a paper, then I cannot present something to you as being factually true. I must read it from the source. The source. So I'm going to do a lot of reading today. There are messages I do a lot of reading. There are messages I don't do any reading, and we just go verse by verse, right? It depends on the message. But again, part 2, and if you like the deep things of the Hebraic mindset, you're going to love this message. You're going to love this message. The Chronicles of Bilam, part 2. Last week, some of you ordered the tape, so you couldn't have been too bored. It wasn't available. But we'll make it available because Tehillah will pull it off of the video. So it'll be available. But I want you to understand how limited religion is. I think you already understand the problem with religion. One of the problems with religion is it's so limited. Correct? Hello? Come on. And one of the problems is that they take everything in the Pashat and they don't go into the deeper levels. And so that in religion, the story or the account of Bilam, son of Peor, is a nice historical account found somewhere in the Torah, Bamidbar 23, 24, and it's nice and it's good to read and it's good to study, but it's not a concept. I'm talking about a concept. So that in the Torah, in the truth of the Hebraic mindset, Bilam is not limited to a person. Bilam is a concept, and the concept has far-reaching implications and applications far beyond the limited pashat of the Torah. Are we on? Are we on?
Amen.
Are we going?
Hallelujah.
We going.
We are.
Baruch Hashem Yah. Yeah, Baruch Hashem Yah. So that we claim to be Hebrews, people who have a Hebraic mindset, but when it comes to understanding the concept of Bilam, we really don't understand that it's not just a person, that it's a concept. Bilam is a person vis-a-vis the reading of the weekly Parsha. It is a literal person when we recount the details of Bilam, son of Peor, who caused Israel to sin, who tried to curse what Yahweh had blessed. So in that sense, it is a literal person. But we have to go beyond the actual account to come to the Hebraic understanding and to the Hebraic mindset. Are we not Hebrews?
Yes, we
Don't we have a Hebraic mindset?
Yes.
Aren't we called to have a Hebraic mindset?
Yes, we do now.
So when it comes to the concept of Bilam, we don't know nothing as we ought to know. To us, Balaam or Bilam was a prophet for hire, and we read it, and we study it, and we read it, and we analyze it. But it's not a concept as it is in the true, proper understanding of Hebraic thought. Does this make sense? If it doesn't make sense, I'll stop right now.
Makes sense.
Because if I lose you now, I'm definitely going to lose you in a few minutes.
Let's go.
Okay? So, Bilam in the Hebraic, renewal of our minds, is a concept. And in Judaism, there are three types of traditional Jews. There are the Orthodox, who know their Tanakh, they know their Talmud, and the real Orthodox know the Brit Chadashah better than you. And they're called anti-missionaries. You'll never know the Brit Chadashah better than Orthodox Jews who specialize in anti-missionary techniques and deprogramming. So that there's a segment of the Orthodox Jewish community that are deprogrammers. They want to deprogram you away from idol worship, i.e. belief in Yeshua. And in order to deprogram you, they've got to know your book, your scroll, and your Bible better than you do.
That's right.
Some of these anti-missionaries know the Brit Chadashah better than I do.
Yep. Yeah.
In the flesh, of course. Of course. In the flesh. So that we better understand that they're Orthodox, and in the Orthodox community, the concept of Bilam is no longer limited to a person, but an end-time eschatological, anti-Moshiach bad man who will destroy the Jewish people. Then in the conservative community, they know some of the Tanakh, they know some of the Torah, and they know some of the Talmud. But what they don't know, they rely on the Rebbe to fill in the blanks and to fill in the pieces and to fill in the missing parts of the puzzle. Because I'm a conservative Jew, I put in the maximum 2 hours on Shabbos. And after the Shabbos, I run to the online trading and I do the trading online. Because I have an account. But I feel guilty, I don't wait for Yom Kippur. I feel guilty, so I run to the shul, I make a dip, I dip in, and I dip out. We call it a Dunkin' Donut type Jew. Conservative Jews. They want to keep dipping so they don't feel guilty. Then we have the Reform Jews. Reform Jews, I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in inspiration of the Bible. I don't believe Moshe wrote anything. I don't believe these bozos can get a job working for the New York Times. They were a bunch of illiterate farmers and fruit producers. So I don't read fairy tales, but I go to shul. Why? To hear fairy tales? No, because I'm a Jew. So I go to shul. But do you believe anything you hear? No. Do you trust anything you hear? No. Do you believe what the rabbi is saying is inspired? No. Do you believe there is a Ruach HaKodesh? Absolutely not. So why do you go to shul? Well, I go to shul with my business card. How else am I going to meet people? So in Reform Judaism, they rely on the rabbi because they don't know the word or the Talmud for themselves. Same in the conservative movement to a lesser degree. In the Orthodox movement, they know the Tanakh, and they know also the Talmud. And what you've got to understand, whether you're Orthodox, conservative, or Reform, the rabbis talk, you listen. They are Merrill Lynch of religion. They are the Merrill Lynchists of religion. When the rabbis talk, you listen. Why? Because they're smarter than you, they know more than you, and they make more money than you, so they got to be smarter. Because in that understanding, if they were stupid, they make less money. Because I know I was raised in that kind of home. If you're rich, you're smart, right? If you're poor, you're dumb. That's not necessarily true. Abraham Lincoln was a pretty wise individual, and he started out in abstract poverty.
That's right, man. That's right.
So that is a definite stereotype. So this message, the Bilam Chronicles, I want to chronicle to you what Baalim means in a Hebraic mindset. And I'm not doing it to shake your faith, I'm doing it for you to be a full and a walk in the fullness of being a Hebrew. If we want to be Hebrews, we have to know all the concepts that our people teach and they share, and they're familiar with, and they walk in. Does this make any sense?
Yeah.
So what Christianity does, they get up and they read the Torah and the Parsha about Bilam. Bilam was a prophet. Bilam tried to curse Israel, and Bilam, Yahweh wouldn't let him. And Yahweh spoke through his donkey, and it was really the Yeshua, the Malach Yahweh. And the donkey crashed his foot. There was an accident, and the traffic patrol showed up and scolded Bilam and said, "You ought to be glad that your donkey had a traffic accident, because otherwise you'd be dead." Pardon me. There's more than that. Turn to your neighbor and say, "There's more than that."
There's more than that.
Turn to your neighbor and say, "There's more than that, then."
Also more.
We learned last week a lot of things. You must get the tape if you weren't here. And remember, I am not going to necessarily try to get everybody all excited and all riled up, because I'm going to do a lot of reading. And when I do a lot of reading, it's to document what I'm saying, not to impress you with what I'm saying, and not to bore you with facts. It's to give you things that you won't get in other Messianic congregations, because either they don't know these things or they're too scared to go there. Amen? Or they don't see the benefit of going there. But I think you'll see the benefit of knowing how our traditional Jewish brothers and our traditional Jewish friends see the concept of last week's Torah Parsha, that, by the way, carries into this week's Torah Parsha, which is Pinchas. You're going to see through my expository proclamation and teaching this afternoon that there is a connection between last week's Parsha of Bilam and this week's Parsha, speaking of Pinchas, the Kohen who pierced through the Zimri and Cosby, who used Yahweh's name in vain, by the way. But do you know who else, according to today's Torah Parsha, Pinchas killed? Do you know who else he was responsible for killing? Pinchas, son of Elazar, the Kohen Hagadol, son of Aharon. Do you know who else he killed? Bilam. Pinchas killed Bilam. Now you'll find that in Bamidbar 33:9. Bamidbar 33:9. You don't believe me? That's fine. There have been other people that didn't believe me. Go to Bamidbar 33. You'll see it. Bamidbar 33. I'm a teacher. I'm not interested in screaming and impressing you with my linguistic vocalities and oratory expository abilities.
Teach it.
I'm not the Howard Cosell of the rabbinics using $1 million words to impress you. I'm a teacher. Bamidbar 33:9. Bamidbar 33. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I'm sorry, Bamidbar. Let me make sure I have it correct. Bamidbar. I want to make sure I have it correct. Is that okay? Tov. That's want to get it right. I'm not telling you till I make sure. Okay? Bamidbar 31. Bamidbar 31. What did I say originally? 33. Okay, good. Now you know I'm not infallible. Bamidbar 31. That's right, in case you were wondering. Bamidbar 31:6. Let's start with verse 6. And Moshe sent them to war, 1,000 of every tribe. Them and Pinchas, verse 6, Bamidbar 31:6. Pinchas, the son of Elazar the Kohen, to the war, with the set-apart instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. They warred against the Midianites as Yahweh commanded Moshe. And they killed all the males, meaning Pinchas and his company. And they killed the Melachim of Midian beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi, Richam, Zur, and Hur, and Riva, 5 Melachim of Midian. And Bilam also, son of Beor, they slew with the sword. So who killed Bilam? It was Pinchas, the Kohen, son of Elazar, son of Aharon. That's going to come into play. So in the Hebraic mindset, Pinchas killed Bilam. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
But remember that in Hebraic understanding, Bilam, and what other Hebraic understanding is there other than the traditional Jewish understanding? Because 99% of the people of Israel are called Jews or think they're Jews, and everybody believes what the traditional Jewish approach is. Hello? What the Jewish people have to say about Rosh Hashanah is the Hebraic mindset when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, that it's the beginning of the year, even though we know it's not, it's the 7th month, and what they say Rosh Hashanah is 2 days, and we know that it's not, it's really Yom Teruah, and it's only 1 day, it's not the 1st month, it's the 7th month, but because the rabbis speak for the people of Israel, or allegedly speak for the people of Israel, when it comes to understanding the Hebraic mindset, you go to Orthodox, Conservative, and Reform Judaism, who all agree that Yom Teruah is Rosh Hashanah, and it's, well, not 1 day, rather it's 2 days. So what is the Hebraic mindset vis-a-vis Rosh Hashanah? That it's the new year, and that it's 2 days. And it's neither. Biblically, it's the 7th month, and it's 1 day. But that is the Hebraic mindset. We are in the minority. We who know the truth of the Feast of Trumpets, or Yom Kippur and all those other things, and the truth of Yeshua and Torah, we are in the minority. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So what is the Hebraic mindset regarding Yeshua? That he's the son of Yahweh, right? Wrong. The traditional accepted Hebraic mindset vis-a-vis Yeshua is that he is not Moshiach, that he is not virgin born, that he's not the son of Yahweh. That is the Hebraic mindset to the entire Jewish world. And when Christians and others who don't understand the truth of the two houses look at the Jewish people and they want to understand the Hebraic mindset, they go to the leaders of traditional Judaism. True? Hello? Traditional Judaism teaches that Pesach is 8 days. We know it's not. We know it's 1 night. We know the other 7 days are Chag Matzot, or the festival of unleavened bread, and Pesach is the first night of those 7 days. Technically, Pesach is not 7 days. It's 1 night. And that the 15th of Aviv through the 21st of Aviv, we know is Chag Matzot. But the Hebraic mindset has everyone believing, Orthodox, Conservative, and Reform, that the entire 8 days are called Pesach. Is that true? No. But in order to understand their mind, you have to enter into their mindset.
That's right. Come on.
Amen?
Yeah.
So according to the Hebraic mindset, Bilam is not limited. Let me change that. His role as a prophet for hire who loved the wages of unrighteousness is the minority view, but the majority view has a completely different concept of Bilam. And we learned that last week. I'm not going to go over it. But I will go forward. If I can see with these Eckerd glasses, I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I bought this at Eckerd and it's worthless. Garbage. Might as well be using the back of a Cracker Jack box. Bilam, as we learned last week, means destroyer. We learned that in traditional Hebraic understanding, i.e. the teachings of the unsaved rabbis, recorded in books such as the Talmud, the Mishnah, the Gemara, and Pirkei Avot, we learned that the rabbis play with the name Balim, which means destroyer, and Roberto just shared with me in Spanish, Pior means destruction, right?
Worst.
The worst. The worst kind of the worst. PR. So Bilam in English, in Hebrew, the destroyer, the worst, or the worst destroyer. Now that's very significant, brother, a lot more significant than you understand. So Bilam, son of Peor, means the destroyer, not just any destroyer, the worst destroyer. That is exactly, brother, the Hebraic concept of Bilam. When you and I think of Bilam, we think of someone that Yahweh put in his place and didn't allow Bilam to curse Israel, because no one can curse what Yahweh has blessed. But now I want you to go to a different paradigm mentally, okay? A completely different paradigm. According to the Hebraic mindset, which is what? The spousals, or the espousals, or the pontification of Jewish Israel, Bilam is not, the minor role of Bilam is the biblical character. The greater concept of Bilam is centered around a eschatological end time, anti-Moshiach, anti-Yahweh, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic, demon-possessed individual named Yahshua. So that in the writings of traditional Judaism, Bilam is synonymous, it's analogous, it is a pseudonym for Yeshua. When you read of Bilam in the writings of the traditional rabbis, which gives us the what? The generally accepted Hebraic perspective. Correct?
Yes.
They are not talking about the individual hired by Balak, king of Moab. They're speaking of Yeshua, the latter-day destroyer, and as Roberto said, not just a destroyer, but the worst Israel has ever seen. Should I quit now?
Come on, no.
So Balaam, in the Jewish Encyclopedia, which is part of the writings of the generic writings of Jewry, there's a play on the name Balaam, calling him Beloam, which means without a people, or without a share with the people of Israel in the world to come. This Beloam means he is a prophet without a people. What is it? Ami, my people. What is Beloam? Without a people. So Bilam, eschatologically in the writings of the Hebrew concept, i.e. those who teach all branches of Judaism. What I'm talking about is what is being taught in all branches of Judaism, because the Orthodox read it, the conservatives kind of read it, and the Reform take the rabbi's word for it. Either way, it's all filtered down to all of Jewish Israel.
Hebraic mindset.
So Balaam, is not just a person, rather it is a concept, and it is speaking about the concept of a latter-day man who would be without a people. And Bilam is another play on the word Bilam. Another variation of Bilam is Bilam, which means one who ruins the people. Write that down.